Okay, so you have 16, you have the 16 little beats. You've got your notes wherever they go. I'm going to put the 16th notes in here with that. That shows where those go. By the way, I think a useful thing to know is that you can count like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you want to do the eighth notes, the way that music people do this is they go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And if you want to get 16th notes in there and sort of like figure out, you can use this to figure out, okay, well, how does this rhythm go? Anyway, 1 E, An, E, 2 E, An, E, 3 E, An, E, 4 E, An, E. And the little Annies go on the 16th. The An goes on the 16th notes there. Anyway, it's one way to break it down. But, yeah, you got to be able to think with having 16th notes and 8th notes, and what does that all mean? So 1 E, An, E. If I did it really slow, it would be 1 E, An, E, 2 E, An, E, 3 E, An, E, 4 E, An, E. Hope that all makes sense. So the final and probably most important part of all of this that I have found is it is getting down around 40 beats per minute, sometimes pushing it on down to 30, which is required for someone to shift the way they're doing this. It takes patience. It takes some time. See, I'm stopped. Okay. It takes some time to slowly work it down from 120 to 110, blah blah blah. Lots of other speeds here, down to 50, down to 47, then to 43, then to 40. You got to be willing to take your time. It might take you 30 minutes to get from being able to do it at 50 to being able to do it at 40. And at some point in there, it's going to be tough. And I invite you to look at it and go, wow, this is weird. I'm having a really hard time playing slow. That's kind of strange, isn't it? You're having a hard time playing slow. But what is required down here is that you are playing relative to your beat machine. You're playing relative to that drum beat. And you're not just taking a random guess at how fast am I going to play each of these notes. You're going to be having to reorient yourself, reorient what it means to let your hand strum those strings or hit that drum. And you're reorienting it so that you can keep it aligned with the boom, pa, ti, ta, boom, boom, ti, ta. Now 30 is slow. That means each beat, there's 2 seconds between a 1 and a 2. It's like 1, 2, 3. So the beat sounds like do, da, chi, da, doom, da, chi, da. It's really slow. And to put this rhythm on that would be like da na 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 da na 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 da. I didn't even do it right. I'm trying to talk and anyway, you get the idea. It's tough, but you can do it. So, and if ever you found yourself going slower than you can handle, you got to back up and go a little faster for a while until you've gotten that easier, and then you go slower again. You might lose your mind. You might go completely crazy doing this. I don't think so, but there's times where it will be tough, but you have to accept the challenge that you're going to figure out how to play this thing down slow, down to maybe 34, something like that. A lot of metronomes only go to 40, so it's good if you can find one that will let you even go slower. And I've done this with a few people, and I've just seen a time, actually with my guitarist I was working with one time in a band I have, I found that she would play this note in time with the metronome, and then these were all just sort of thrown in there randomly, and she might get ahead or behind, but then she would, bam, hit the next one, hit the next number one beat right on time. But then all the in-between beats were just randomly thrown in there about when she thought they were, and then she would wait till the end and go boom and play the next one. So I kept pushing her slower and slower, and then at some point, she got to where she locked in these things exactly with the beats of the metronome. That's really the goal you're going for, and I almost can't stress this enough. I feel like saying the whole thing again. I might, but it's really that your playing of each thing has to be oriented to the 4 beats or the 8 beats out of the metronome. It's just how it has to be. If you don't do it that way, you just don't have rhythm going on. So you work it all the way down to some slow speed where you really go, wow, I am locked in. I am like locked in with this beat, and I'm playing everything, bam, just right on the money. Just playing it exactly at the right times that line up with the beat out of the beatbox. Then you start speeding it back up, taking your time, and on the way back up, it's like all downhill from there. You just start going, wow, I'm so good. And you should never push this up to the point where it feels like it takes effort. You really should take your time slowly accelerating it to where each speed is just like falling off a log. It's just super easy. That's really what you want. And then by the time, if you take your time and do that, and you get back up to full speed, you'll basically feel like a brand new guitarist. You'll feel, or drummer, or whatever. I haven't mentioned bassists, but this is more important for bassists than, probably than the other two, because bassists can get the idea that if they're playing roughly along with the drummer, that's okay. Drummers almost have to get it worked out because they have so much complexity going on that they almost are forced to handle themselves on this. Though I have seen drummers who were struggling due to a lack of sense of rhythm. But there's a term called in the pocket, and I talked to a bassist one time who was very, very good, and he just talked about how that's just basically where it's at for a band. This is almost the most important thing. Can the drummer and the bassists lock in to where the drummer goes boom with the kick drum, and the bassist is going boom and letting go of that string off the tip of his finger right at the same moment, and the kick drum and the bass guitar are smacking that beat and driving the music. And I tell you what, you watch a band that doesn't have a good sense of rhythm and watch their audience and they're not dancing. You watch where the rhythm section works like clockwork and they can drive that rhythm and they can almost just make you sit there and start having your head bob the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're just emitting that beat, that 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're just right on it and they feel it and they can communicate that beat. And it's just contagious. You just have to pick it up. So, again, in summary, you, at some point going slow here, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Like you just suddenly transform what the heck you've been doing all this time. You transform from playing it I hope I'm playing fast enough. Oh, that's a little too fast. Let me slow down. Okay, let me play a little faster. 2, here's the beat, and I'm playing with it. Da-na-na, 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 boom, boom-da-dum, ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-na. You get the idea? That occurs from playing really slow. Da-na-na. Anyway, you get the idea. Best of luck. It's not easy. Will take a lot of your time. I suggest Sultans of Swing, but any song with 16th notes and some sort of jumbled up pattern will work. May the force be with you.